In front of us here we have a fascinating 15th century church known as St. Olaves Church. It is said that there was a church here early in the 12th century and then was rebuilt in the 15th century, which is the church you see standing before you today. Now, during the Great Fire of London, which 87 churches were destroyed in a fire that lasted 4.5 days, St. Olaves is one of the 8 remaining churches that escaped the Great Fire of London. The church is dedicated to King Olav of Norway. In 1014, the Norwegian Olav Haraldsson was an ally of the English king, King Ethelred II, in his fight against the Danish kings, which resulted in the pulling down of London Bridge. How they came about pulling down the wooden London Bridge was by sailing their army of raft boats and topped them with thatched roofs that were stolen off local houses as they passed. They knew the Viking Danes would have already been lining the bridge, ready to attack any oncoming enemy ships with spears. When they approached London Bridge, they tied large rope around the bridge's pillars, then rowed off in the opposite direction, pulling the bridge down behind them. This is said to have given way to the nursery rhyme, "London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady." As you approach the entrance to St. Olave's Church, you are faced with formidable gates, probably the most formidable gates in the whole of England. The arched gates date back from 1658, and above the gate is ornamented with a skull and crossbones. The hollow eyes of the skulls look out with deathly stares to the city workers that pass the gates on a daily basis. Above the crossbones, on top of the arch, there are several ferocious spikes. These were added to the entrance in the early 19th century to prevent body snatchers from getting into the churchyard and exhuming the remains of the newly dead that had been recently buried inside the churchyard. The churchyard's gate is also known as St. Ghastly's Grim, which made a big impression on Charles Dickens. In The Uncommercial Traveller, Dickens wrote of how he once felt drawn to it in a thunderstorm at midnight. "Why not?" I said in self-excuse. "I have been to the Colosseum by the light of the moon. Is it worse to go and see the St. Ghastly's Grim by the light of lightning?" Dickens described the gateway of St. Ghastly's Grim as a small churchyard with ferocious strong piped iron gate, like a jowl. As we take a step inside the churchyard, said to be here at St. Olaves is up to 365 plague victims, including that of Mary Ramsay, who legend has it that Mary Ramsay brought the Great Plague to London. If you died as a plague victim, on your tombstone the letter P would come after your name. The burial register also has on record that of Mother Goose, who was buried here in 1586, perhaps the person to have inspired the pantomime character of the same name. To the right of the churchyard you will see a marked stone high up on the outside church wall. The stone marks where an exterior staircase entered into the church's south gallery's naval offices, which was built for the famous 17th century diarist Samuel Pepys. It was during this period that Samuel Pepys attended the church with his wife Elizabeth, after Pepys became Clerk of Act and lived in the Navy Office. Samuel Pepys referred to St. Olaves as "our own church." The staircase was built so he could arrive into the Navy Office of the church without getting wet. Step inside the church and you will see on the north wall a memorial to Samuel Pepys and opposite his wife Elizabeth Pepys. The church authorities bearing no grudges against a man who once wrote that he slept soundly all through a sermon. When Pepys' wife died after a long-suffering illness, Samuel Pepys commissioned John Bushell, who was known for his animated sculptures, to produce a fine white marble bust of her, which is on the south wall overlooking her husband opposite. Both are buried underneath a communion table just a mile from St. Bride's Church, where he was baptized. Today, St. Olaves Church holds a yearly commemoration service at the end of May. If you head to the end of the west side of the church, you will come across a stairway that will lead you down to a crypt dating back to 1270, which is the earliest surviving medieval section. It is unknown if the ceiling in the crypt with the ribbed cross vault of Canestone dates from the same period. When the practice of crypt burial was discounted in 1853, the crypt was filled in. It was then cleared out in 1935 and made it into a chapel still used today. I think we can all agree that St. Olave's Church has to be London's most atmospheric church, with each gateway or doorway opening up a secret passageway to a long historical past. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, if you could press the like and subscribe button below, I'll be extremely grateful. Thanks for watching.